Come along with me as we explore the words of a former slave, Mary Armstrong. Her spoken words were written between 1936 and 1938. She was 91 at the time, lived in Houston, Texas. She was born on a farm near St. Louis, Missouri. A slave of William Cleveland, her father Sam Adams belonged to a ninja trader who had a farm adjoining the Cleveland place. These are Mary's words. I's Aunt Mary, all right, but you all has to excuse me if I don't talk so good, 'cause I's been feeling poorly for a spell and I ain't so young no more. Lord me, when I think back when I used to do and now it's all I can do is hobble around a little. Why, Miss Olivia, my mistress, used to put a glass plum full of water on my head and then have me waltz around the room. And I would dance so smooth like I don't spill nan drop. That was in St. Louis, where I was born. You see, my mama belonged to old William Cleveland and Polly Cleveland. And they was the meanest two white folks that ever lived. 'Cause they was always beating on their slaves. I know 'cause mama told me. And I hears about it in other places. And besides, old Polly, she was a Polly devil. If there ever was one. And she whipped my little sister, what was only 9 months. And she just a baby. She whooped her to death. She come and look and took the diaper off my little sister and whipped till she saw blood. Just 'cause she cried. But like all babies, that's what they do. They cry. And she killed my sister. I never forgot that. But I saw something evil in that old Polly devil, and it's just this way. You see, I was about 10 years old, and I belongs to Miss Olivia, what was that old Polly's daughter. And one day, old Polly devil comes to where Miss Olivia lives after she marries and tries to give me a lick out in the yard. And boys, I picks up a rock about as big as half of your fist. And I hit her right in the eye and busted the eyeball. And tells her that's for whooping my little baby sister to death. You could hear her holler from 5 miles. But Miss Olivia, when I tells her, she says, well, I guess mama learned her lesson. But that old Polly was mean like a husband. Old Cleveland till she died. And you know what? I hope stays burning in hell for it. Hope stays getting tormented right now. You know, I don't remember a lot. You know, except Miss Olivia and my mama, the stuff that they told me. My mama's name was Mississippi. That's what I was told. Of course, it's powerful cold in winter times, and the farms was lots different from down here. They call them plantations down here, but up at St. Louis, they was just called farms. And that's what they was. 'Cause we raised this wheat and barley, rye, oats, corn, and fruit. Yeah, we raised all of that. And if I think back, the houses, they were built by brick and heavy wood too. 'Cause it's cold up there. And we had to wear them warm clothes in these wove on the place, and we works at it even in the evenings. Yeah. That old Cleveland takes a lot of his slaves, what was in custom, you know, and he brings them to Texas to sell. And you know he wasn't supposed to do that. Because when using custom, that's because he borrowed money on you, and you're not supposed to leave a place till the debt's paid up. Of course, old Cleveland, he just tells the people that he owed money to that we ran off or we squirmed out some type of way. That Cleveland boy, he was a bad man. Mama says she was in one bunch, me and another. Mama had been put forward this with my papa, Sam Adams. But that makes no difference to old Cleveland. He's so mean, he never would sell the man and the woman and children together. He said the man here and the woman's there, and if they had children, he said them someplace else. Old Satan and torment couldn't be no meaner than what he and old Pilate was to their slaves. I mean, boy, he was so mean, he chained a ninja up to whoop him and rub salt and pepper on him. Just like this. He said it was to season them. And he'd sell a slave. He'd grease up their mouths all good to make it look like they're healthy and they've been eating good. He was a slick old man. A slick old man. Well, mama say they hadn't got no more to Shreveport before some lawman caught old Cleveland and takes them all back to St. Louis. Then my little sister's born. The one old Pilot ever killed. And I was about 4 years old then. Miss Olivia takes a liking to me. And though her old papa and mama so mean, she's very kind to me and everyone else. And they just love her. She marries to Mr. Will Adams. That was a fine man. And has about 5 farms and 500 slaves. And he buys me from old Pilot Devil for $2,500. And he gives him George Henry, a ninja to boot. I sure happy to be with Miss Olivia, away from old Cleveland and old Pilot, because they killed my little sister. They killed her. We lives in St. Louis on Chinquapin Hill. And I's house girl. And when the babies start to come, I nurses them and spins thread for clothes on the loom. I spin 6 cuts of thread a week, but I has plenty of time for myself. And that's where I learns to dance so good. Lord, I shows just crazy about dancing. Oh, I so crazy about dancing. If I was sitting and eating my vegetables, and here's a fiddle play, oh, I gets up and I dances. Mr. Will and Miss Olivia sure is good to me. And I never calls Mr. Will Massa. He doesn't make me call him Massa. But when they's company, I calls him Mr. Will. And round the house by ourselves, I calls them Pappy and Mammy. Because they raises me up from a little old girl. I hears old Cleveland done took my mama to Texas. But I couldn't do nothing. Because Miss Olivia wouldn't have much talk with her folks. Once in a while, old Polly comes over, but Miss Olivia tells her not to touch me or the others. Old Polly tries to buy me back from Miss Olivia. And if they had, they killed me sure. But Miss Olivia say, I'd wide in blood as deep as hell, for I'd let you have Mary. That's just the very words she told him. Yeah, Miss Olivia, she loved me. Then I hears my papa is sold. Someplace, I don't know. I don't know where. Cause I didn't know him so well. But I heard he was sold. Yeah, he was sold. One day, Mr. Will said, Mary, do you want to go to the river and see the boat race? Lord, me, I never won't forget that. Yeah. Hey. Where we live, it ain't far to the Mississippi River. And pretty soon, there they comes, the Natchez and the Eclipse, with smoke and fire, just pouring out the smokestacks. That old captain on the cliff started putting in bacon meat, and the boiler and the grease just come out blazing, and it beat the Natchez to pieces. Yeah, oh yes, I remember that. I remember that. I stays with Miss Olivia to 63 when Mr. Will set us all free. I was about 17 years old then, or more. I say I go and find my mama. So Mr. Will fixes me up 2 papers, one about long as a yard, and the other one a bit smaller, but both had a big gold seal. What he says is the seal of the state of Missouri. He gives me money and buys my fare ticket to Texas and tells me there is still slave times down here and to put the papers in my bosom. But to do whatever the white folks tell me, even if they wants to sell me. But he say, before you gets off that boat, just pull out them papers, but just hold them up. Let folks see, but don't let them touch. And when they seize them, they has to let you alone. Yeah, that's what he told me to do. So I kept them safe. Kept them safe in my bosom. You know, Miss Olivia, oh Lord, Miss Olivia, she just cries and cried. Oh, she cried and carried on and say, be careful of myself, because it's so rough in Texas. Oh, I just hate to leave her, but I had to find my mama, you know. She give me a big basket and had so much to eat in it I couldn't hardly lift it. Another with clothes in it. They puts me in the back end of the boat with a big old wheel where to run the boat. And I goes to New Orleans. And the captain puts me on another boat. I mean, I traveled so many boats, boy. But he put me on another boat to Galveston. And that captain puts me on another boat. And I comes up this here Buffalo Bayou to Houston. I looks round Houston, but not long. It sure was a dumpy little place. Then I gets the stagecoach to Austin. It takes us 2 days to get there, and I think my back busted sure enough. Oh, it was a sick, rough ride. Oh. Then I has trouble. Sure enough. A man asked me where I going and says to come along. He takes me to Mr. Charlie Crosby. They takes me to the block where they sell slaves at. On I gets right up like they tells me, cause that's what Mr. Will told me to do. So I did exactly like Mr. Will told me to do. And they starts bidding on me. And when they cried off and this Mr. Crosby comes up to get me, I just pulled out my papers. I held them up high to let him see that I was free. So he said, let me see those papers. And he kind of squinches his eye. And I just held him up even high because I wasn't going to let him go, just like Mr. Weir told me to do. So Mr. Crosby says, this gal I'm free. She has papers. And he tells me he a legislative man and takes me and lets me stay with his slaves. He's a good man, you know. He tells me there's a slave refuge camp. A refuge camp. You know what that is, baby? Yeah. In Wharton County. But I didn't have no money left. But he pays me some for working. When the war's over, I starts to hunt Mama again and finds her in Wharton County. Near where Wharton is, long me talk about, crying and singing and crying some more. We sure done, boy. When I found his mama, we did some crying. I stays with Mama till I gets married in 1871 to John Armstrong. And then we all come to Houston. I gets me a job nursing. Nursing for Dr. Rilliford. And was all through the yellow fever. I lets in 75 people. 75 people died. Like sheep with the rots. I seen folks with the fever jump from their bed with death on them and grab other folks. The doctor saved lots of folks, white and black, because he sweated out of them. He mixed up hot water, vinegar, mustard, and something else. But he mixed all that stuff up, give it to those people. But Lord, me so much is gone out of my mind because I was 91 years old now. And my mind, just like my legs, just kind of hobble around a bit. Oh, but glory to God, I'm still here. I'm still here.